we'll keep an eye on that because that means that we're real close. And as you know, we had Rod Casper on the show several weeks ago, and he said that he hoped to have a coach in place by the time we got to UIL district realignment, and that's supposed to take place next Thursday, the 2nd. Next Thursday, the 2nd. So Coach Huffstickler, coached for 27 years, has been at Robert E. Lee a long time as an assistant, coached the 1 year as a head football coach after he replaced Mike Owens. Raiders had a 1-9 year. It was a tough year for the Robert E. Lee Red Raiders, but we wish Coach Huff good luck as he moves on to the next chapter in his career as a coach. Also, in addition to that, Craig Smoke also telling us that Mac Brown is coming to town to Van tomorrow to see Dalton Santos. Remember I was telling you about guys that commit, and Dalton Santos is committed to the University of Tennessee.
Okay.
He's a beast, but Mac Brown is coming down tomorrow. The man is going to make a home visit.
Wow.
To visit with Dalton Santos and his family and see if he can't...
Mac Brown coming to town, maybe break a little bread.
Maybe change his mind just a little bit. So anyway, they get the home visit, and then likely that Mac and Manny Diaz, the defensive coordinator, may also be there.
Okay.
And then it looks like Santos is going to take an official visit to Texas next week. So, Dalton Santos is a UT commit, but means nothing.
It's exciting talking about it. I imagine being these kids, it's just crazy.
Santos, too, Rivals.com had an article says that his stock is shot through the roof after a really impressive showing at the Under Armour All-American game.
Okay.
It was going on back when I was in New Orleans a few weeks ago. So apparently he is 6'3", 251, and just a stud.
Wow.
He's a stud, and there are a lot of anybody in the world would like to have him. So, all right, we are going to turn now to some strength and conditioning questions because that seems to be the topic of conversation going on right now with the Dallas Mavericks, and with us right now to talk a little bit about that on the APEC VIP hotline, cutting edge training for the serious athlete, apecgo.com. Joining us, my buddy Kelly Hitchcock. How you doing, Kelly?
Great, Bryan. How are you doing?
Doing well. Thanks very much for coming on with us today. I wanted to talk to you about this because I don't know if you followed it, but Dirk Nowitzki started out the season, was having some problems with his knee. He's 33 years old, and then the decision was made by Rick Carlisle, the coach, and his team's medical staff to take him out of the lineup for a 4-game stretch and give him a chance to improve his conditioning and work on his ailing knee, which is a really unusual thing to do in the middle of a season. But then again, this is an unusual season with the strike and being locked out and all that kind of stuff. So what exactly can you do in a week's time to improve your conditioning and get your legs strong enough to help your knee?
There's really not a lot you can do in 1 week. I did read some of the articles, and it said he was so tired of playing basketball that he had failed to get in shape before the season. And they've been in the season at least a month now.
Yeah.
And that's a pretty good amount of time to get conditioned. But when it comes to playing at that elite level, there's a fine line between peak performance and overtraining. And I believe he went from last year's NBA into the German league.
Right.
So, that's quite demanding, and it could definitely lead to physical overtraining, or it could be the knee. And then anytime you have physical overtraining, it leads to mental burnout and mental focus. So it kind of snowballs on you. And in the end, all of that accumulates with decreased performance. So, I would be speculating if I said what the reason was, but I do really have a hard time thinking that you can do anything as far as increasing performance if you haven't done it in 30 days. Trying to increase your performance in a week.
Well, it just sounds like he's going to go through like a series of 2-a-day, or he has been going through a series of 2-a-days. They said that he's trying to regain his leg strength during this. And they're calling this like an 8-day training camp.
Yeah. Motor skills and conditioning are two different things. And if motor skills are lacking, ball control, that's definitely something you can improve on. But a two day a week workout, if you're not in condition now, that worsen his situation, because I mean that definitely could lead to burnout.
Mm-hmm.
Anytime if your conditioning is there but you're burnt out, I mean the best thing to do is rest and eat properly.
Yeah.
It just, again, I'm speculating and I don't know the whole story. I just would have a hard time believing that you're going to increase someone's conditioning with a week of working out. I mean, you will, of course.
Yeah.
But that's relative, and he's probably in pretty good shape as it is. Like I said, he's been playing for a month. But I don't know. That's something that you usually try to take care of, and you're in shape before the season begins.
It's just a really unusual approach, and one I've never seen done before. So, I don't know. And then if you're talking about doing something to strengthen your sore right knee, what kind of exercises would you be doing?
Well, I mean, when you have a knee injury, you're basically talking about rehabilitation type movements. A lot of that may be, along with the exercise, would be E-stem and icing, knee, just to help it to recover a little bit and to get the inflammation down. But it just depends on the severity of the knee. I mean, there's not a lot, again, there's not just a lot you can do to strengthen any particular area with just 1 week of working out.
Yeah.
And then you look at the specificity of basketball training, that in itself doesn't really increase strength much at all. I mean, you would be looking at doing something more along the lines of strengthening with weights. But that's just a very delicate situation. If you have a knee injury, you don't want to tax it too much to where you make the problem worse. So, I don't know. I don't really know what they're doing. It could be just simply that he needs a little bit of a break.
Yeah. Now, I want to ask you about another thing that I'm very curious about, and you are working with a number of college athletes right now, guys getting ready to go off to college, and I know that in the past you've worked with getting some guys ready for pro camps and things like that, and I'm sure you're still doing some of that now. We saw this year, and again, because of the NFL lockout, we had all these OTAs that were canceled, all these special training sessions that they usually do year-round that they didn't do this year. And we saw, I'm telling you, I don't think I've ever seen the number of hamstring injuries that I saw this year with guys like Miles Austin and Felix Jones and people like that. What did they miss this year, or is it just me? Am I just seeing it with one particular guy, or is that just kind of normal, or is there something different that happened this year that so many guys are getting hamstring problems?
Well, anytime you're pushing your body to the limits, there's always going to be an increased risk of injury. And, but I do understand what you're saying. It does seem like there's been a lot of players that have come down with these hamstring injuries, and that could be a reflection of that their off-season training wasn't as they weren't as diligent with their off-season training as they have been in the past.
Well, is that more of a flexibility thing that they didn't do enough flexibility work, or what is the situation there?
There's not just one specific thing that could be the reason. I mean, it could be flexibility. It could be that the muscles haven't been used, and they didn't do a lot of sprinting before they got there, and so now all of a sudden you're asking your legs to do something that they haven't been done and they haven't been trained in a while to do. And of course you're going to pull, you increase the risk of muscle pulls. I know that you and I, if we went out and ran and tried to catch a few balls, we probably would come up limping a little bit too, and that's just because it's just not something we've been doing in a while.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, I think that a lot of the injuries that you do see does come down to a lot of the guys just didn't stay in shape. I mean, a lot of these guys are really genetic freaks, and unfortunately, when you're like that, you can get away with that when you're in high school and maybe through college and your first couple of years in the pros. But over time, the older you get, you look at guys like Jerry Rice, who stayed in shape all year round, and they hardly ever had injuries, and that's just due to them maintaining a certain fitness level throughout the season.
Is that the case, or is it just some people are just more inclined? I mean, like a Felix Jones. I mean, you look at the guy, and he looks like a physical freak, but he stays injured.
Well, some people are just more prone to injuries, and I wish I had a scientific answer for that, but unfortunately, every situation is different. I mean, sometimes it's just bad luck. Look at DeMarco Murray. I mean, it seems like all throughout his Oklahoma career and Now with the Cowboys, he's been a little bit injury prone. But, you know, you just got to be in the wrong place at the wrong time, and, you know, anything can happen.
Yeah. Now, I want to ask you about Yu Darvish, the Japanese pitcher that's going to come in here. This guy's coming in. He's a young guy, but he's big, he's strong, but he's never pitched every fifth day. He's never pitched in the kind of heat he's about to see here when he comes into Texas in the summertime. And how does a guy who's never experienced that get ready for what he's about to undergo?
Well, you know, the best thing to do is you just get out there and do it. You know, and acclimation takes approximately 30 days, when that's heat or cold. So hopefully the Rangers will work him in at a slower rate and will give him a chance to adapt. You know, and that might be a smart thing that he takes off the days that he has. I mean, that really saves your arm. And I don't know, you know, you never know how a guy's going to respond if he hasn't been doing that. And it just depends on what the Rangers have in mind for him, how many days. But,
yeah.
You know, you just got to take it easy and let him get acclimated to the heat. I mean, the heat's a problem for all of us. I know that if I'm indoors and all of a sudden I start going out a lot, in the beginning it's really brutal. But over time we get used to it and your body adapts. And he's young, and the younger you are, the quicker you are at adapting. So he should do fine.
Have you been keeping up with Jeremy Parnell?
I have. He's doing great. He's been getting good write-ups in DallasCowboys.com. They've really got high remarks for him. I think that, you know, he's playing behind Free, and I think that, you know, if Free has a year like he had this last year, Jeremy might get a chance to really step in. But he's got his head up, and the Cowboys really like him.
Is it a case where, I know that they were looking at the possibility at some point they really feel like they've got to get some stronger guards. I mean, I know he's a pretty big guy. Is he capable of putting on additional weight that you might be able to move him inside to a guard position, or do you see that happening for him?
Oh gosh, I think he's too tall. You know, I mean,
yeah.
6'8", that'd be
a
pretty tall guard, and you'd have to throw over that big old body. I'm not sure. I think they're going to keep him at tackle. I mean, I don't know. I haven't heard anything about them moving him to guard.
No, and I haven't either. I just wondered because I know that's a position of need that they're going to have to be looking at, and I didn't know if his body type is such that he could be able to put on the additional weight.
Oh, he's 315, and he's lean 315.
Yes, he is.
I mean, you look up and down that offensive line, and when he's out there, he definitely stands out, not only because of his height, but because of the way he's built. But he could carry 350, I think, fine.
Wow. That's crazy. All right, so you're working with a lot of high school kids right now getting ready for college, or more college kids getting ready for combines?
Yeah, it's great. I've got such a good mixture right now. I've got kids from 10 years old to 13 years old in one group. And then I have a lot of high school kids that I'm working with right now. And then I've got a lot of college guys, and when they were home, we had 20 guys there working out at one time over the Christmas holidays. And I've got about 3 guys right now that are getting ready for their pro days at their college facilities. So pretty busy, and I have guys that come in and out all the time. Luckily a lot of the guys that went to JT or Lee, they're down at SFA or SMU or TCU, and they come home pretty regularly. So, usually when they come in town, they give me a call, and they're back in there.
Got any names?
I don't know if I should drop any, but I mean, it's people that you would know that are pretty big time, and I'm just, I'm excited that I have the opportunity to work with them. I predominantly train, I would say professional type people during the daytime.
Yeah, old fat people like me, I know.
No, I didn't say that. But this gives me an opportunity to work with kids and try to maybe have an impact in these younger kids' lives, and then also to meet some really neat, exciting people that potentially one day I'm going to be seeing on TV in the NFL.
That's called Ticket Connections. That's what that's called.
Oh, well, if that happens, that's great, but that's not my primary goal.
Yeah, but it would be mine, okay? Kelly, hey, listen, thanks very much for the information. We really do appreciate it. It's great talking to you, man.
Well, great. Thanks talking to you, and thanks for asking me.
You bet. Kelly Hitchcock has KH Fitness and works with a lot of kids that get ready for college. Thanks, Kelly. We appreciate it. All right, Bryan Houston, Sports Radio Live, 99.3 Talk FM. Let's check in with Chuck right now for Sports Flash.
Thank you so much, Bryan. 22 past, some baseball notes to go over as things have been breaking the last hour. You heard Bryan talk about it. Detroit Tigers and slugger Prince Fielder. It's a 9-year, $214 million deal from ESPN's Jerry Krasnick and Frisco. Two-time Cy Young Award winner Tim Lincecum and the Giants. They have a verbal agreement as of today, 2 years, $40.5 million in New York. Yankee Jorge Posada calls it a day, retires from baseball, calls his experience with the Yankees absolutely priceless. Also getting sort of retired after a 2-15 start, Washington Wizards fired coach Flip Saunders today, third year of a 4-year, $18 million deal. Mavs win last night. They beat Phoenix 93-87. Dallas Stars center Mike Ribeiro, he's been out the last 7 games with a knee. He's back in the lineup tonight as the Stars play the Ducks in town at the American Airlines Center. Also remember, Super Week 2012 coverage brought to you by Tyler Ford. That is starting Monday with the entire SRL crew and reports being filed from Indianapolis. Sports Flash on 99.3 Talk FM, brought to you by AP Rentals. Visit them online at aprentals.net or on Facebook.
I just want to take a moment to say thank you to those of you who trusted us to help brighten your holidays. To the husbands who turned to us for the gift that made their wives sparkle on Christmas, thank you. She gets a smile on her face every